Bishop Noll Institute is a Catholic private school located in Northwest Indiana. We have been proud to serve our neighborhood, not just Northwest Indiana, but also our greater Chicagoland area for the past century. We pride ourselves on preparing students for the future by preparing their mind, body, and their soul. So when somebody thinks about social emotional wellness, it's so hard to quantify. And I think that just when you think of COVID in general, it's been a trying time for our youth. As a leader of a school that services students from 14 to 18 years old, I noticed that there was a need.
I think one of the greatest challenges we've faced is an increased level of anxiety. Students for so long have been isolated on their own. It's definitely beyond time to reduce the stigma and talk about how we can optimize our mental health.
There's always been a stigma about mental health, and I think especially it depends on what group, what culture, age groups, you just always get that hesitation to say that I need help. And if I say I need help, is that a weakness?
I'm a big believer as an educator that when you don't know, you seek. And we as educators are trained in treating students academically and making sure that we're meeting their academic needs. But it was important for me as a leader to make sure that I reached out to a community source such as Nami to provide that guidance to my students.
It can be really scary to talk about mental health or what's going on with you at first. So by Nami Chicago or by Bishop Noll being able to be the first people to introduce that language or say it for the first time, something that maybe a student's been wanting to say, gives them a little bit more comfort and space to actually take that next step. And it's a very powerful move in supporting youth to seeking help. Ending the Silence is a 50-minute presentation specifically designed for high school and middle school students.
Being a student in the COVID era has definitely been really hard. We were able to talk about this and just get those issues out from under the rug and just able to communicate about it in a space that just didn't feel judgmental.
Especially for guys our age, they feel like they can't really open up to anyone. So I think seeing that there's people here and there's like men here that are willing to help you and they know what you're going through or you've gone through, it really helps them open up and realize that being like emotionally sensitive isn't a bad thing.
I felt like this year I've had a lot more conversations with students than I did, last year with, just male athletes and just saying, hey, like what's going on? I know something's bothering you. I can tell something's bothering you. Now this gives you the opportunity to talk about that.
I feel that many of our students who were suffering in silence no longer feel like they have to. And I think that in learning and participating in this training, it's actually allowed our students to understand that it takes courage to be honest about how you feel.
I had a few students step up and said, that was a really great presentation because it made me feel like I wasn't alone.
I think one of the things that Ending the Silence provides is just this young adult who shares their story. This part is so effective in reducing stigma because they hear from another person where they may be able to find commonalities or very shared experience. It makes people feel less alone.
I know for me, listening to the presentations, watching the videos, answering the questions, sharing my experiences with the students has been very cathartic. And so I think that this is just another way for students to know that we are human and that this pandemic has impacted us in ways that we never imagined and that we have that connection that we can work through together.
I mean, knowing that someone's there for you, it makes it seem like everyone cares for you and you don't have to be alone in a battle.
And it's not just the Instagram picture that you posted the weekend before when you're having a great time. There's also the times when you're struggling and when you're dealing with difficult things. And I think that It was just important for us to be able to kind of talk about that and see that we're not perfect all the time.
It opened up a lot of doors, facilitated a lot of good conversations, and it's also just continuing to give students the language they need to be able to articulate things going on with their mental health.
I'm really proud of our students for their interest and in the steps that they've taken to help themselves and each other.
We're so excited to partner with NAMI to bring those supports to students in the Big Shoulders Fund Network. When it comes to managing tough emotions, there's no substitute for social support. The work of Bishop Noll High School, the work of Nami Chicago, has opened up those routes of social support when it comes to talking about mental health and challenges that we're facing in the era of COVID.
It shows us that Bishop Noll is keeping their students' mental health as a top priority. It also shows us that the school is ready to tackle a really tough subject, really a crisis that is staring us in the face and is wildly misunderstood. This school is going to meet the needs of their students no matter what.